The Houston Rockets have been a dumpster fire this season, especially after recent trades of James Harden. Let's get into this. All the way back in 2012, James Harden was traded from the OKC Thunder to the Houston Rockets. At that time, a lot of people knew that James Harden was an extremely talented young player, but he was playing on the bench as a six-man role with guys like Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, so his true potential wasn't officially unlocked yet, and his value was lower due to that. Harden was always a great scorer, but obviously he's nothing near what he was now. And lucky for the Houston Rockets, the OKC Thunder had to pay James Harden pretty soon, and they had to choose between Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, and James Harden, and they much rather had Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant over James Harden. So one of the three had to go, and one of the three was James Harden. So the Houston Rockets got an extremely young and talented James Harden, whose talent wasn't fully unlocked, for pretty cheap compared to what his value really is. And as we all know, on the Houston Rockets, James Harden absolutely exploded and showed his true potential, becoming an MVP and also becoming an MVP candidate basically every single season. Now hindsight's obviously 2020, but a ton of credit has to go to Daryl Morey for identifying James Harden as a guy he thinks could be a true cornerstone piece in an organization, and then going out and getting him for not a crazy deal either. In terms of personal accolades, James Harden had crazy ones. Obviously he was an MVP, he was an all-star almost every season with Houston. He had great individual accolades. As a team, they were also winning a ton, but they never really achieved their goal of winning a championship with James Harden. So in that sense, I guess it was a failure. And James Harden has to be very thankful for Houston because they were the team that truly unlocked his potential and gave him the reins and just let him work. But after that playoff series against the Golden State Warriors, where the Rockets missed 27 straight threes and lost that series, I think we all knew that their window actually to win the NBA championship was kind of closed at that point. And after trying one last time to pair James Harden with Russell Westbrook and try to see if that would work, after that didn't work, it was really over for Harden in Houston, or at least for them to win a championship. I agree with Harden that the Rockets probably weren't going to win a championship in Houston with Harden unless something significant changed, but I just really didn't like how Harden treated the whole situation. I just feel like Harden completely quit on his teammates and his team after he decided that he was going to leave Houston. But whatever, the past is the past, and now the Rockets had to trade James Harden. It was inevitable at this point. And this is really the start of the end for the Houston Rockets and how they really became a dumpster fire. Now, when you have a guy like James Harden, you should get a ton of draft picks, a ton of great young guys, which they did, but they made a huge mistake in it. So the real trade that the Rockets made was they got 3 first-round picks along with Victor Oladipo and some other filler players, but in reality, they could have got those 3 first-round picks and Caris LeVert and Jared Allen on top of it, but instead they decided to go with Victor Oladipo, who was on a contract season, and they've just recently traded Victor Oladipo at the deadline for literally nothing. So instead of having Caris LeVert, who is a really nice young player that they can have under contract for years to come, they got Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley instead of that young great cornerstone piece they could have had. And there was also another report that the Rockets could have just traded James Harden for Ben Simmons, who is an absolute superstar already. So either way, it was really difficult to mess this up for the Rockets, but they ended up completely messing it up. A fair deal for them would be getting those same 3 first-round picks along with Jared Allen and Caris LeVert, and no one would be complaining right now. But instead, they trade Caris LeVert for Victor Oladipo, who's arguably not even as good, also older, and also on a contract year. And they had no intention of paying him to that contract. It just makes 0 sense. That would have been a pretty good deal, but obviously if I had the choice, I would definitely rather have Ben Simmons. He's a bona fide superstar who you can build around for years to come, and you don't get an offer for a guy like that too often. I think they really fumbled the bag with this trade, but I still do think they have some nice pieces. Like Christian Wood is pretty nice. John Wall actually is playing pretty well. They do have those 3 first-round picks, and they have that guy Tate, that rookie that they can build around as well. I think is pretty good. They have some nice young pieces there. I just think they could have got a lot more for James Harden. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think the Rockets are probably on a good path and on a fine path, or do you think they really messed up this trade and are really not on a good path? But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. And until the next time, peace out, guys.